Hey there and welcome to a new modeling exercise in Blender where we're going to make some freeform sci-fi models. So without any further ado, let's hop straight into it. So first thing I'm going to do is just basically import a plane and delete half of it because we want to mirror it to get some symmetry going on. And now what I'm going to do is just add in some edge loops and make an interesting shape. Now with sci-fi there is really no rule set to what you should be doing in order to make a sci-fi element look sci-fi. Basically there is no rule set, I think. So just bring something up like this. Just going to make like a step here, like so. Something like this. That already looks interesting. Once we subdivide it, we get something that looks like this. And I think we should move this right over here. So that makes it a little nicer. We can bring this down. And this is the design stage that is probably most important, because this is where you're going to make your final form of the model. This is where you make the adjustments to the overall shape of your mesh. So I would suggest to take your time with this. Also enable clipping so this doesn't happen to you. So yeah, just make sure you get a desirable thing out of this. See what sticks with you, see what doesn't, and then continue. So I think I'm liking this here. Just going to crease it up a little and bring it up. Maybe also here. Yep. Okay, I'm liking this. I'm going to keep it that way. So I'm going to apply the mirror modifier and the subdivision, and I'm going to delete half of my mesh right away so that we can mirror it across again. So like this, mirror, I'm going to apply subdivision again, disable it for the edit mode, and now we can get started with our base mesh. So for what I'm going to make, I would want there to be like a screen of some sort. So I'm just going to inset here, but you can see we can't inset from both sides, so what we have to do is press B for boundary, and now it's going to let us do that. So I'm going to apply here, and right now my instinct would say extrude, but then you will get this face in the middle here, which is not what we want. So I'm just going to inset again, drag out, apply, and then press Alt S, which is basically going to do the same thing, but without the thing in the middle. So I'm just going to move this inwards. So just enable clipping, move it inwards to get some angularity in here, inset, and inset this as well, and you get the sharpness on top. Now I'm going to use the same principle on top here, just inset, inset again, Alt S, scale it down, bring it in, inset again, and again here, and we get something that looks like this. So now for this region here, I would like it to be flat, so I'm just going to scale it along the z-axis by a factor of 0. Then I'm going to bring it down. As you can see, it gives me another angle here, which is going to make my my model look a little bit more angular. You could of course also do that right here, which is going to give you an overhang right there, and you can really play with that and make some stepping. Just make sure that you don't overextend. Whoops. And that your results look intentional like this, because otherwise if it looks like an accident, it usually will not appeal to the human eye. So now that we have this, I'm gonna wanna flatten all of this, bring it down. It's going to give me this fall off right here and the angularity in here. Insert this and maybe even this here. So you can just select this like that, insert, and you would get this result here. So now we can use a function which usually does not exist in Blender, which would be the hinge from edge function. Now in 3ds Max you do have that. In Blender there is a workaround for it. So it's basically select the faces that you want, then you double click on a vertex to make it white, go here, enable active element, and here normal. And now if we rotate, it's going to rotate according to this one point. Now we can select our axes. Now we can select the Y or X axis. I think the X axis looks the most desirable. So I'm going to do this. Insert again. And we get something that looks like this. Now this looks like some sort of fins, which we can further enhance by inserting this as well. Maybe even this here, so that we get some nice angles flowing right here. But then in this case, I think it's a little bit too little. I think we should hinge from here. Insert here. So now let's do that again. Insert and insert. And I think that looks more like it. Now we do get some pinching here, but I don't think it's that important. We could always merge this here, which would not give us the best topology, but it's something that will be taken care of by the subdivision. So just merge this. Select everything by distance, and all of that gets merged. Could of course also merge it like this. Which will make it a little better. As you can see, we basically fixed most of it and it flows nicely. Now we do have a triangle here. We can just widen it up a little bit and it won't be noticeable anymore. Now with designing, it's actually important to get the shape down. You can later fix the issues with the topology, but if you cannot see it, it usually is not that important, since the subdivision is going to take care of it anyway. So right now, I don't think that there is any more details that I want to add here. I think this here could look quite pleasant. Yep, I'm gonna do that. So make sure all the big details are done now, and now we can just apply this again. Now we have a lot of topology, and I'm going to enable the mirror again, but this time I'm going to use the bisect option, so it doesn't really matter what we do on this side, because it will not show on this side, but when we do it here, it's going to reflect on the other side. So now, with the Loop Tools add-on enabled, I can go to Edit, take something like this here and make it a sphere or a circle. Make sure to set this again to global and this here to median point, like so. Going to inset once, inset twice, S, Y, 0, and now you can choose circle again, scale it down, bring it in, and there you go. You can just insert here, and when you subdivide, it looks like this. So now what we can do is also give this here some circular detail, disable the subdivision for right now. First of all, scale it along the y-axis by a factor of 0. Make it smaller, insert again, bring it out, smaller, insert, and we get this here. Can insert those two parts to get some more sharpness, and that should look nice. Okay, now that we got that, we could take this part here, wrap it around, insert once more, bring it in, and we get this here. But maybe we could add some more to our selection. Okay, now with this, I'm just going to Alt S. Just going to make it look like this. Maybe I can bring it down a little. Yep. Okay, now we could go in here, select this part of the mesh, Alt S, scale it down, and you get this here. Okay, now that we got that down, we can get back to the sides here and give it some fins. Maybe with an inset it would look better. Okay, something like that. And really you can see that I'm not really doing much. I'm just trying to get some desirable result by moving stuff around. I'm not really extruding much anymore. I'm not really trying to establish new shapes. I'm just trying to further enhance what I'm already having in my scene. Something like this. Now we have a big space here. Just going to take care of it by again hinging from this edge. And have a few more here. like so. Now that could be the motor part of some vehicle or something like that. We could go in here, select this part of the mesh, maybe get some paneling down. No, this wouldn't make sense really. Okay, now down here, then you would want to take this. Now what I'm really doing is just adding panel lines. Which you don't have to do, but sometimes it looks really nice when you do. Something like this. Now just inset. Make sure it looks good all the way around. Inset once more, don't move. Alt S, bring it down, inset again, just the tiniest bit. And you get these panel lines here, which adds just a little bit to the overall aesthetic of your mesh. So now I want to give this here again the circle, inset, scale, whoops, median point, scale, bring it up, maybe not yet, now, as you can see, I just made two things here. Now I have no clue what they're supposed to represent, but it looks cool, so I'm going to keep it. Now for this here, I'm going to make like again a circle. Oops. Could make a button out of this, like an indent. Something like this. And really your things should make sense to some extent, but it's sci-fi. Usually sci-fi elements aren't really meant to represent anything in specific. As long as you can see, hey, this is a rocket ship, it's usually going to be perceived that way, and you're going to be fine. So now that I think is pretty good, and I'm gonna make some antennae. So just select some stuff here, circle, inset, bring it up, just like this, then extrude once more, and here again, Alt E, extrude along the normals, and we can also get something over here. Whoops, select all of this here, inset, and you get this here. which looks like Antennae. So, yeah, I think that's about it. There is not much more to add to this model. Of course, you could further try and do stuff, but I think at some point you should stop, because you don't want to overload your model. You could also try and bring in some new additions to the sides here, maybe some inlets. I always want to think about, does what I'm doing make sense? Because if it doesn't look right, if it looks out of place, it's not going to look nice. So always make sure that when you do something, it looks like it belongs there. Now for sci-fi elements, as I said, it's not really important to know what the function is of something, because it's a sci-fi element. We don't have that yet, so it's not really that important, but make it look like it belongs there. You should be good to go. Something like that. So yeah, that should be it. I hope you learned something. This wasn't really how to make one specific thing, but more like a rule of thumb kind of thing, where I wanted to show you that you can achieve like curves and angularity, which makes for really good sci-fi things, because that is usually what sci-fi is all about. Just having smooth edges or smooth surfaces with hard edges, like here, which usually gives you the sci-fi style, the sci-fi vibe. And yeah, I hope this helped you with your future creation of sci-fi models and rocket ships, or this could even be used for modern cars, like Audi likes to use some sort of similar style to this. Of course, they don't want to have like jet engines poking out of towards the top, which would make the car top heavy, but some sort of this style where they have like sharp edges which transition into smooth surfaces. It's kind of modern right now with cars, so I think this could also help you when making some sort of vehicles or stuff like that. But yeah, you could also give this some neon lighting and stuff like that. You should be really good to go. So without any further ado, I will stop the video here, and you should be able to recreate this and make some of your own stuff. And hopefully you will send it to my Discord server so I can take a look at it. I will see you in the next one, and bye!